Welcome back, Pirate Crew. It's your captain, Yeehaw Yadam, and we're back with another YouTube video for you today. On this YouTube video, we're going to be doing and covering the classic news and market watch for the week. We know that the upcoming weeks are going to be really spicy for the One Piece card game, so let's get right into the news. So this is something that's been out there for a bit, and I don't think I'd let you guys know, and my apologies for that. But basically, Bandai revamped the Judge program for the majority of their games, whether it be One Piece, Digimon, Dragon Ball, I think also got updated. But basically, if you want to become a One Piece judge, you can go ahead and apply. It's just that simple. If your local game store is needing judges, or maybe you want to judge online events, or maybe you want to judge a little bit more than that, definitely think about joining the Discord server right here. This is on the Bandai official website for One Piece. Join the Discord server here. Make an account, go ahead and do the promotions, and then apply for your exam. They're doing the exams in waves, and the exam is, by what I've heard, since the game is out and there's not a lot of crazy rulings at the moment, the exam shouldn't be that hard at this moment. As the exam progresses into the future, more sets come out, more mechanics, it'll become increasingly difficult, and then with the oversaturation of judges, it'll be much more difficult to get within the judge program. Not to say that that means get into the judge program now because it's easy, but definitely, if you're interested in being in the judge program, don't wait, study up, and then I'm sure you'll do just fine, and you guys can make yourself a judge for your local game store, and maybe you might want to do some things online and reach out to other TOs, but definitely something I want to let you guys know about if that's something that you're interested for the One Piece card game. They also updated their tournament organizers manual, which is like this really long manual that basically talks about format structures, how they handle the treasure cups, how they handle regionals, how they're going to handle all these events going forward for this game. Now, this is a pretty long document, looking like 40 odd pages with some pictures, but just wanted to, denote this page. I skimmed this just a little bit, but this is a question that gets asked a lot. How do the Swiss rounds work? How many rounds equal how many players they have, and so on and so forth. So official Bandai tournament organizers, if they do a casual event, don't necessarily have to follow this. But this is something that you should expect. So basically, if there are 4 to 8 participants in your tournament, expect 3 rounds of Swiss without a top cut. 9 to 6, 4, top 2, and so on and so forth. Your tournament organizers are able to change this for casual gameplay, basically locals, however they see fit. If they want to, if you have 16 players and you want to make it top 4, they can go ahead and do that. But they just need to let you guys know ahead of time, as well as they need to let you know this information has to be advertised before the start of any event, price support, so on and so forth. Basically, they want all the tournament organizers to be very transparent with you guys, so you don't just join a tournament and feel like you got like robbed. But definitely, I don't think that's the case at all. But I think just a lot of people coming into a new card game, they might have expectations and they're not met sometimes. And this document, you can always present that to your local game store so that they can go ahead and run things exactly how Bandai wants to. So definitely this is available to the public as well. They just did a big update because they do expect to go forward for all these sort of things. Now I wanted to show you guys this. Obviously, as you can see here, this is a free gift that was given to people that joined in on this offer. Now I know this is late, but I want to show you guys something like this. Bandai does do this pretty often, and if there's anything like this in the future, which I do expect, I'll make sure to keep you guys available. But for example, there were 2 waves of this. The first wave was in November, the second wave was in December. And if you just bought any of the products on the premium Bandai store during the film event, which was this mat and deck box, or the premium card game collection 25th edition set, you would get, if you're in the first 3,000 people that bought the item, you would get a playset of this Nami, right? So you have 10 Dawn sleeves of the Altar Nami. It looks fantastic. Super cool. Free gift for anyone that got in. And then on your second chance, you would get, between these, if you got any of these, the first 3,000 would get a Zoro 10 pieces. You can also acquire this sleeve through tournament gameplay, but I haven't seen this Nami through normal means as of yet. So stuff like this, guys, I think it's really cool that Bandai does it, and I just wanted to make sure you guys were aware. For the next time they do these things, this actually came out prior to my channel starting doing One Piece, but if they do this in the future, I'll make sure to keep you guys aware. And I just want to show you guys the products that they do have lined up and the ones that we're going to be looking for. So basically, let's start off with the one that's coming up in the very near future. We have the film starter deck coming out February 3rd. You'll start seeing them in your Targets, Walmarts, local game stores, hopefully, and things like that. If anyone is selling it ahead of time, sus, but whatever. Yeah, these these starter decks are starting now to float into the game. People are starting to have access to them, and that you should see them within the near future. With that being said, these are not going to be tournament legal for the Treasure Cup. But if you want to play them at your local game store, after February 3rd, they are tournament legal, and you can play them within your regular store or casual tournaments, just not the Treasure Cup. I'm sure that the online regionals, as well as the in-person regionals happening in March, as April and March, will definitely be able to play the film deck. So these very, very powerful purple cards are coming your way very soon. So starting February 3rd, go check this out. MSRP is $12, but everything One Piece seems to be not following this trend, so I don't want to let you guys know. Just be aware they're supposed to be $12. If they're a little bit higher, understandable. Just keep yourself up to date with how the market goes. I do expect these to be very short printed, as I think people pre-ordered this in excess again. So scalper prices hopefully are not, this is not going to be immune to scalper prices, but hopefully with knowledge you can avoid those scalper prices. I want to let you guys know about the other upcoming products that are being released within the near future. Basically, the next starter deck that's on the lineup is the Navy starter deck. They haven't really put a date at this time, but we have it in the first quarter of 2023. We do expect this to be within the next couple months, probably as Paramount War starts getting closer with its release, right? These should technically be released a little bit together. Once we have a more specific strict date, we can go ahead and let you know that. There's also more sleeves. This one's a Chopper and a Luffy. Very, very cute. These little cases. The Big Mom Pirates structure deck, and then the third booster box. I think these are now starting to become available for pre-order, so definitely try to find a... I'll see if I can find some and link them down in the description below of places where you can go ahead and pre-order this. If I can find any, because I do believe these are already starting to see potential pre-order prices. So very, very cool. We have MSRPs for literally everything. So thank you, Bandai, for having a very clear-cut way of noticing all that stuff. And segue into the card market. So the card market this week finally took a little bit of a pullback. I'm gonna go pull this over to the side. The market pulled back a little bit, right? These were 28 or 2,800 last week. These, you know, these haven't really moved at all, and I don't really expect certain of these cards to move, but at least the case finally dropped from 26, 28 to now 24. You know, not much, but some sort of drop. Boxes are still sitting at $230 to $250. And then I know this card hit up $150 this week because I had to sell it at that point. But definitely there's been a bit of fluctuation, but we have a pretty hefty pullback on a lot of cards, right? Anything that aren't these four cards basically is getting pulled, and Flamingo being pulled up, as well as other specific cards. So it's going to be difficult, guys. It's going to be really difficult to make money on any of these cards. These are already like very inflated prices. Collectors who wanted those specific cards probably got them, and those people that are really like, they want to play max rarity because that's just like a card gamer thing, like myself. They probably have these cards as well, right? So who's really the market that's really going to push these up and down? The only way that's going to happen is by the treasure cups, right? But since these are so high, it's really difficult to say like, all right, invest in like 50 of this Eustace Kid, right? You can't reasonably do that. I mean, of course, if you got the money, you can do whatever you want. But if you want to try to see if squeeze some money here and there, it becomes a little bit easier to do the supers, the regular arted cards, right? So Boa Hancock sitting as one of the higher costed supers after Law and Zoro. Law and Zoro is already $30, and again, for that card, that still seems very high, but the thing is, there's a lot of barrier to entry in this game, right? So if you have these cards, people are going to want them. It's trade bait. It's cards that people are always in need of, and they're going to need to, because they need these cards to play their decks if they want to play very specific decks. So I'm going to just highlight some of these cards. Obviously, Zoro and Law are already $20 and $30 respectively. But there's other cards that do have room for growth and are very important to different decks and their archetypes. So Boa Hancock, one of the best cards in blue, in Flamingo, and in Crocodile, and in Purple, and every color that has blue will most possibly play this Boa Hancock, because the amount of advantage this Boa Hancock can give you offensively is crazy. I went ahead and had a podcast this week with world champion Andrew Duvall, where we go kind of in depth about a bunch of different cards, and Boa Hancock is easily one of the cards that is on the menu. So definitely make sure $10 seems reasonable. This card can go, other supers are $20, $30. She can definitely have some room to grow depending how blue does in these treasure cups. The more blue tops, the higher we can see this card go. And I do think because of that, if you've got some Boa Hancocks, or if you have the money to invest in a couple Boa Hancocks, it's not a terrible investment. Then Law, we see him at $18. He fluctuates in between 20, 25 in that range. Again, he's really high, but there's another super that if you have it, you can hold on to it. I do expect Law to just be an insanely good card. Not only because basically every green archetype plays him to some extent, just because of how good the card is. It's almost a complete necessity in the Law deck in and of itself. So yeah, it's a fantastic card. I don't need to explain how good it is, but I can see this going up and down. And if you have it at 18, I'd probably hold this and wait for it to go closer to $30 as Zoro has after the tournament winnings. Or if you have someone that says, I'll give you 34 right now, just ship it to them, right? People do need these cards to play the game, so might as well do it. Useless Captain Kid being $8. This is another card that's, you know, it's kind of maintained within this range of like $5 to $8. And I can definitely see it going a little bit higher. Again, you do need some assortment of this to play the game. This Law is not necessarily a 4 of unless you're playing Law. This could anywhere between 2 to 4 depending on the deck that you're playing. And the same can be said about the Useless Captain Kid. If this card is around $20, this card should be high as well. They are basically played in the same archetype. They have the same strategy behind them and they're within the same decks. So with that same mentality, I do believe that if Law can go up, certainly the Useless Captain Kid can go up. Now, this is just a much slower card than the Law, so I guess because of that, maybe the Law has more competitive propensity, but he is one of the, you know, the supernovas. He is one of the main characters from the new like upcoming crews, and definitely is a fan favorite card, as well as one of the strongest cards, meta warping, if you will, from the new set. Then we've got this Kaido. This Kaido's $4. Yeah, $4 for this card is, I think, pretty cheap. I think this is one of the cards that you are going to need in some amount in any purple deck, right? This is one of the biggest tempo cards in the game, and because of that, I can see this card going anywhere between $5 to $10. In my purple list that my brother has been piloting, we have playing this card at $4 because we just need to see this card. The games that you do not see this card are terrible, and even if you like start having too much of them in your hand, you'd rather have that problem than just not see it in general when you need it. Because of that, I do think that this card is a little undervalued. It is one of the strongest purple cards in the game. There's a bunch of other purple cards that are super duper expensive, aka the structure deck cards. But since structure decks are very limited and it's very difficult to acquire those things and sell them reasonably, if you can get your hands on a couple of these Kaidos, I would suggest holding it. I do think Kaido's a good deck, and this card is in a good spot to potentially yeet up into more monies. And with the same sentence, so is this King. So this King being $5, it's the same as this Kaido. Both of these cards are some of the best cards that purple has access to because of the strategies of other decks, right? The more aggressive decks exist, blue, Law, red, green, these cards kind of house them, right? So because of that, them being $5 seems a little bit unreasonable, as these cards are anywhere, again, 2 to 4 depending on how you feel like it, but I'm leaning closer towards the 4 side on both of these. Again, being that it's 4 of each and they're supers, I can definitely see these cards going up to $15, especially on the day of the tournament. If people need these cards for their deck that same day, definitely they will have to make a heftier trade at specific time. But with that being said, guys, I think that wraps it up for this week. Make sure to check out the Judge program if you haven't gotten the opportunity to. Make sure to stay aware of premium Bandai, and as always, check the product catalog as it's changing, because Bandai is pretty up to date with how they do their releases. Do that now. If there's enough product, there's something else to be desired. But thank you guys for joining us on today's Market Watch Monday, as well as our news section. This week was a little bit shorter because there really hasn't been a lot that's happened this week. I do expect with the following weeks a lot of news to drop, a lot of things to cover, especially with these tournaments. And next week we will be foregoing Market Watch Monday for a little series that I call Road to the Cup. So we'll go ahead and see that on the next week. But if you liked today's video and the content that I produced, go ahead and leave a like. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, make sure to leave a comment down below, and I'll make sure to answer when I have the opportunity. And as always, guys, if you have not joined the Pirate Crew but are enjoying the content here on my channel, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see ya on the next one. Peace. I cannot find the stop button. Oh boy.